Yo, 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 what's up, all you burner stones and potheads? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there? Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
How the hell are you?
Fantastic.
I love it. Hey, all you vipers out there in the world. Hopefully you're smoking some big fat doinks while you're listening to the show. Mrs. Weedman and I are about to get normal with some Super Boof, grown by our friend Big Earl. Super Boof, also known as Super Boofy, as I like to call it, is an evenly balanced hybrid strain 50-50. Created through crossing the potent Black Cherry Punch and Tropicana cookies. If you're in the market for a new super balanced hybrid to add to your lineup, look no further than Super Boof. This bud brings on hard-hitting effects that slam into both mind and body with a potency level that's almost unmatched by any of its peers. You'll feel the cerebral effects hit you first, filling your mind with lifted sense of focus and creativity that is perfect for helping you jump on artistic tasks or chat with people around you. A sense of physical relaxation comes next, slipping into your limbs and helping you stretch out and relax without any aches or pains. In combination with super high 28 to 32% average, the THC level, these effects make Super Boof a great choice for treating conditions such as chronic stress, fibromyalgia, gastrointestinal disorders, mood swings, and chronic pain. This bud has a sweet and fruity cherry berry flavor with a super nutty and sour citrusy aroma to match. Super Boof buds have dense and flat heart-shaped emerald green nugs with thin red-orange hairs and tiny milky amber crystal trichomes. The effects: creative, euphoria, focus, giggly, relaxing, uplifting, relieve symptoms of chronic pain, depression, fibromyalgia, gastrointestinal disorders, stress. Flavors are berry, cherry, citrus, fruity, orange, sour, and sweet, and the aromas are berry, cherry, citrus, earthy, nutty, pungent, and spicy. I will tell you this, the moment I got this bag of goodness, Mrs. Weeman and I opened it and smelled it, and I tell you what, we were just like, oh
Yum.
my God. And Mrs. Weeman's on a fruity kick, weed strains right now, and her eyes lit up, and you could just tell the aromatics did wonders for your olfactory. Yeah, you were just all over this strain. We've been smoking it now for a couple weeks.
It like smells like weed should smell, and it does what weed should do. It's just
so
good.
nice. Such a nice strain.
It's good.
I like it very much. So thank you, Big Girl, for throwing to the cause. We appreciate you. While we're smoking this strain, Mrs. Weedman's going to tell you about 8 decades.
Mr. Weedman's on like uppity right now, and he's smoking a uppity weed. So let's see where this
better
goes.
than I was all day today. We had a funeral we went to today, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But go ahead, tell us about 8 decades. Mrs.
8
Weedman.
decades. That is our cannabis lifestyle brand. 8 decades spelled out, EIGHT, decades.com. Stop on by, learn more about us, what we do, why we started a lifestyle brand, and links to swag for the Weedman 420 show.
Hey.
Great hemp clothing from Young Maven. We've got some great cannabis accessories and all sorts of stuff. So check us out.
Smoke tray, rolling tray on the planet.
Yes. Your forever rolling tray.
That's it.
Stop by and grab one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd also like to thank the sponsor of the show and a new partner for 8 decades, Goodies Dispensary in Streamwood, Illinois, for the best craft cannabis selection in Illinois. Check out Goodies Dispensary in Streamwood, Illinois. You'll also be able to find all different brands, all different flavors, and all different fun at Goodies Dispensary. We'd like to thank them for partnering with 8 decades and bringing our brand in. So if you want to go check them out, and 8 decades is on the shelf there, you can pick it up, feel it, touch it, look at it, and also buy it at the Goodies in Streamwood. Check it out. They're great partners of ours. So we thank you for throwing to the cause and also sponsoring this episode and partnering up with 8 decades. Thank you, Goodies. So Mrs. Weeman and I went to a funeral this morning, and I will say this. This is Mrs. Weedman's aunt who lived to 101.5.
Exactly.
Exactly.
She was exactly 101.5. Not an extra day.
Not an extra day. 101.5. Oh, Mary. She was great.
And was still getting around up until 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was a hoot, boy. She was probably 4'9". Feisty, sassy, takes no shit from nobody. Will tell you how it is, whether you liked it or not. So rest in love, rest in peace, rest in power, Mary. You'll be missed. 101.5.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and like I said,
that was a celebration of life.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah. We were at a Serbian church,
Serbian Orthodox
church. What a beautiful church.
It looks like a Byzantine chapel.
Yeah, it was
from Europe.
amazing. It was just the paintings,
Murals and
unbelievable church.
Yeah.
It was very, very pretty. I'd never been there before, and it was something special to see the artwork and just how the church was very different too. No chairs, no pews or anything like that. So it was very different. And the priest there sung the whole mass the whole time. And
sometimes Serbian, sometimes English, more Serbian.
Probably
Like he translated,
about 85%
he
Serbian.
translated like prayers, but he did a lot of singing.
Yes.
So there was just a little bit of English.
So, but it was a beautiful day, and she lived a great and amazing life. 101.5.
I'd take that in a minute. She was still in her own home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
it's pretty amazing. Cool. Pretty amazing. Any memory or anything you can remember?
Oh, gosh. I mean, she's been part of my life, my whole life.
Right.
So she was just always feisty. She always remembered everybody, and she always had good stories. She would love to just like sit and talk. She was a wonderful gardener and cook and baker. She loved tennis. So when my grandmother was alive, they since their early days of parenting had always been close, and my grandmother loved sports. So she usually had 2 televisions going, sometimes 3. She'd have her TV she was watching. She'd have a little TV, like a console TV, and then sometimes a TV going in another room. And it was mostly tennis
and golf,
and basketball. And then later a little baseball and some football.
Yep.
But golf, tennis, that was all day long. And so she'd get the Sunday paper, and then the TV guide would come out of the paper, and she'd have everything highlighted, and that was always on her ottoman. And Mary, much the same. So Mary loved American baseball, though, also. Oh, and soccer. Soccer.
Football.
My grandmother was way into soccer early days, and then anyway, long story short, they loved to banter about sports. So they would talk sometimes daily about whatever sporting event was going to be on TV that day. And so just cute little sweet European women that, I mean, the priest kept saying, a century. She was here a century.
1924.
Imagine what she saw in her life.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was a pallbearer today for it too. So when I got to say, when we all walked past the casket, I said a prayer and I looked down. I was like, wonder what you saw in 100 years, 101.5 years.
She was born in Croatia. Then they emigrated to Australia, and then when she was like 25, came to the United States, and then met her husband here. So, like, there's stories.
Yeah, about a lot of stories.
Like, gosh, could you imagine what life was like then versus now, and experiencing? Like, we probably the biggest impact in our lives is technology, right? Like computers and cell phones. I mean, just think of her life.
Oh,
she went from like horse and buggy.
She saw the steam engine.
I mean, she came from Europe. Where she came from in Europe was a small island.
Right.
They didn't have vehicles.
Right.
Maybe they did. I think they probably had donkeys.
Did. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And now she's zooming around in an electric car and. And everyone's on talking
huge.
through their
100
phones.
years, seeing what changed in 100 from 1924. She lived through the Great Depression.
Imagine the cars. I think that would be
seeing every different car from every 10 years or something like that would be nuts.
Yeah.
How many different styles of cars she's seen.
And fashion trends.
Yeah. Oh, because you love the 20s fashion.
Oh my God.
She lived through the 20s fashion.
Yeah, but she was a baby.
I know, but she probably got the she
roaring
lived through
20s.
The roaring 20s, and then your 30s, 40s, and 1950s, where when she came over to America and watched the change here, she lived through the 60s.
Yeah.
Oh, 60s, and just so much stuff. And just think of the different music.
Yeah, yeah.
And how she listened to music. Where she started probably on one of those big record players with a big megaphone.
Big phonograph.
Right, phonograph, right? And then, when she probably got her first real record player.
Or a Victrola.
Yeah.
That is a phonograph, right?
And then the first real record player, and then go to tape. Oh, 8-track. She might have had a car that had an 8-track in it.
Oh,
and then go to tapes, and then go to CDs, and then she could listen to music on her phone.
Wow.
What just that technology too.
Right.
What she's lived through is just fucking crazy. So here's the deal, everybody. 100.15 years is not everyone's going to live there, but here's the deal. Look at, if you're 53 like Mrs. Weeman and I, we've grew up through the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and we've seen technology change too. Music, computers, phones, just cars, different technology. Look at you now where you're at in your age and go go back in the past and look how technology's changed or what you were into has changed and what you're into now versus what you were in 30, 40, 50 years ago. If you're 70 or 80 listening to the show, just think about your change of life. And here's the thing. Get fucking living before you die.
Yeah, hopefully in the rearview mirror you have a lot of things to look for,
right?
Like to see lots of good memories, and if you don't, you still have time,
right?
Because
you still have that whole windshield in front of you to change your life and move forward and live. Like I always say, get to living, get to dying, right? Just fucking live, as my brother Bigfoot says, get lost living. Right? So just like we always say, work is work. You need work to pay your bills, whatever. But leave that at home and go live life because you only got one time around here. Unless you get reincarnated as a dog, and that's kind of fun.
I'm telling you, if I come back,
I want to come back as Yuki.
Move over, Yuki. I want your spot. She's fucking spoiled.
It's very spoiled. Very spoiled. Yuki is always in the studio with us. She has her little spot. She's either on the couch next to me or she loves sleeping on a sleeping bag because it's cool. And by Mrs. Weedman, her sleeping bag with all of her toys, she'll lay on that during the show. And she doesn't move very much. She kind of knows. It's kind of funny. So speaking of dogs, the world's ugliest dog contest just passed here in August. It's now September 2nd, but it just passed. And Petunia claimed the top prize.
She's really not that bad looking.
I didn't think she was
bad.
bad.
There had to be some uglier dogs.
And a nearly 50-year-old competition, though. I didn't know it was 50 years. That's crazy. That celebrates unconventional looking canines. So why it matters, the contest serves its purpose beyond entertainment, advocating for dog adoption and celebrating the beauty of all animals, regardless of their appearance. Competition highlights rescue dogs and shelter animals, many of whom have overcome significant challenges, including puppy mill backgrounds.
Oh, that's
the platform help shift public perception about what makes dogs worthy of love and homes, potentially influencing adoption decisions nationwide. As organizers emphasize, the event demonstrates that pedigree does not define the pet. And I thought Petunia was the cutest, ugliest dog on this list.
Yeah.
She was very cute. She was not ugly. She looks like half
like an
French
elephant.
bulldog.
Half elephant.
So, the next dog, though, little Prince Wonder, an 8-year-old Chinese crested.
There's always one of those.
He is not very pretty.
Every ugly dog contest, it's a Chihuahua with like a loss of jaw, or one of these dogs with their tongue hanging out.
Now, Ginny Lou, the 5-year-old pug, had that. Her tongue was hanging out like all the way to the floor.
Oh, there she is.
She's cute. She's not the ugliest dog, but the tongue boy. And then you have a dog named Merle Haggard competes in the world's ugliest dog contest. And he looks like a Chihuahua.
I mean, our dog, our Chihuahua Paco, could have given him a run for his money.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But Paco was Paco.
Paco was special.
To you.
He's just special.
So congratulations, Petunia. I think you're the prettiest, ugliest dog I've ever seen.
Oh,
she should have had a tutu on or something. She would look even cuter. But it's fun. I'm glad they do something like this. And Petunia won $5,000.
Hey. Go,
on my birthday. It was August 8th.
Wow.
Look at you, Petunia.
Go, Petunia.
Killing it out there.
Tell your mom you want like a dog spa day. No, dogs probably don't even like that. So you want like a nap, an endless nap on a really comfortable
lots of
bed.
Treats.
Yeah.
Special made homemade treats.
Yeah.
Congrats with that $5,000. Hopefully they build her a nice home, like a little dog play area.
Nice dog house.
Yes, she deserves it. Petunia. I love the name too. Super Boof.
Super Boof.
It's very super boof.
Wow.
I like it. We've been smoking. Like I said, we've smoked it for the last couple of weeks here and there. And
I just feel like
mellow.
Yeah. But kind of a little uppity though.
Yeah.
Too.
You probably can draw something right now pretty quick. It says creativity kicks in. Artistic creativity kicks in.
Watch out. I might get creative.
Oh shit. We got no events coming up anytime soon that I know of. We'll I think we just got invited by one, but I got to reach back out to them. So we'll let everybody know where the next event it will be at soon here. And it's summertime. We want to enjoy the summer. So
yeah, we needed some little break.
Yes. So, but we'll be back out there soon, hitting the streets and stuff like that. And we just love y'all and whoever comes visit us. So, but we got a show to do. You ready to do the show?
Let's do it.
Let's get this rolling.
Let's go.
One thing is the foundation of great cannabis, and it's by Green State. But you might have heard me talk about this on the show before, but also you might have listened to the Grow Hour, which I do with Big Earl, that talks all about breeding, growing, home grow, all kinds of grow, and Big Earl is great. He's amazing on what his knowledge and what we talk about on the show and what we teach and the guest we have on. So, but the one thing we've talked about a lot is when you're growing is genetics. Very popular. You can have the best equipment in the world, but if you have the shitty genetics, it's going to show.
And vice versa.
So, but you can have a mediocre grow system, affordability wise. Let's just say,
space
and you have good genetics. You're gonna get good weed. Might not be the fucking absolute greatest weed, but it's gonna be good weed. I don't have the best grow room. I don't have the most expensive equipment, but some of the genetics, some of the genetics I've gotten is the reason why the weed I grow is good. So that's what you have to look for. We've talked about this. You have to look for breeders that are reputable, that they have a good reputation in the industry. They're priced correctly, and you see, and maybe a good breeder they will talk to you if you have questions.
By the way, Midwest Terps, we have a beautiful plant that's as tall as me, about taller, about 4 inches taller.
Yeah,
growing
outside. We did an outdoor grow this year.
Lots of buds.
Vegas candy.
Lots of buds.
It smells amazing. Lots of buds, and the trichomes are now going up the leaves, up the stems. Not just sugar leaves in the bud. It's going up the fan leaves now. It's like we're about 5 weeks in, I think. Flower,
yeah, probably.
And it is looking fantastic. So yes, this outdoor grow is very special. So let's talk about genetics. So what's up, beautiful people? Today we're unpacking something really important. And trust me, it's not your fancy lights or that Beyonder carbon filter. We're talking genetics. That's the blueprint for greatness. So here's the deal. You can have all the space age tech, LEDs, brighter than your future, a facility cleaner than your dentist's office, and airflow so perfect it hums. But if your genetics are weak, you're still going to harvest mediocrity. No flavor, no punch, no story, just disappointment. It's all there in the DNA, the terps, the cannabinoids, how the plant looks, and how it stands up to pest or mold. It's about how she handles stress. That's what separates the meh from legendary. From when your homies come over and they're like, "Where'd you get this?" I grew it. That's going to be that legendary status. That means growers aren't just slapping down some trending strain name because Drake or Snoop smoked it last week. Nope, you're pheno hunting all year, every year, sniffing out those rare, stable, high-performing cultivars that make your grow sing. It's about trusting your instincts, your experience, and that obsessive attention to detail, not spreadsheets or hype. Great breeders, they put every new cultivar through a grueling vetting process. We're talking weeks, months, sometimes years. They want every aspect to hit bag appeal, nose, potency, and smokability. And above all, consistency. Because nothing breeds trust like knowing every time you pop that jar, it's going to deliver the same elevated experience. Most breeders say if it doesn't pass their test, it doesn't make the cut. In regulated markets, take New York, for instance, consumers expect that every bag's the same as the one they loved last time. No surprise. That's why consistency isn't just a luxury. It's non-negotiable. And guess what? Consistent experiences only come from stable genetics. But here's where it gets real, artistic. Genetics don't just show up looking prime. You hunt them, you select them, you breed them. That's where art meets science, in the sacred breeding space. One tiny tweak in generation could unlock a brand new terpene combo. A color so deep it stuns the eye, or that clean, hard-hitting buzz that makes your mind melt into the couch. Sure, some clips come from winning breeders, and that's cool. But good breeders put their genetics to the test by having good vetting processes, protocols, and cultivation philosophy. That's how they maintain quality across the board, no compromise. This is where the industry often trips up. Too much flash, not enough soul. Marketing can sell jars with hype, But if the bud inside doesn't back it up, people will notice. Weed should speak for itself. You want your customers to open the jar and immediately know this was grown with purpose and precision. And if you're a home grower, that's there too. And you're buying seeds from breeders online, or you're going to an event and there's breeders there and you're buying their genetics. This is key. That's how you stand out in a sea of cookie cutter strains and cut corners. So let's wrap this up. Smoke ring style, Mrs. Weedman. Blow me a smoke ring, will you? Genetics are the foundation. Without solid DNA, you're building on sand. They decide everything: terps, cannabinoids, looks, resilience, stress handling. Real growers pheno-hunt year-round, basing decisions on instinct and accuracy, not trends. Rigorous vetting ensures only the best makes the final cut. Consistency builds trust, and that trust fuels the industry. Breeding is where art and science mingle to unlock the extraordinary. Marketing is cool, but it can't hide subpar genetics. Let the plant do the talking. All right, all you aficionados out there, the lowdown on this, on why genetics matter more than grower tent, designer wallpaper, or your gram-worthy jars. Respect the seed, and she'll reward you with legendary flower every time. Right?
Mm-hmm.
PTSD.
Yep.
There's a doctor's take on cannabis and PTSD. Tell us about it, Mrs. Weedman.
All right. It is estimated that 3.6% of the world's population suffers from PTSD. So we're going to share one doctor's take on cannabis and PTSD. Thomas Green, MD, is a retired urologist who spent his life helping those suffering from difficult diagnoses. PTSD isn't just bad memories and experiences. It can mean sleepless nights, sudden anxiety, and feel like danger is always just around the corner. Veterans, accident survivors, first responders, anyone who's been through trauma can live with the condition. Some people with PTSD aren't chasing a high, they're chasing a good night's sleep, shares Dr. Green. While I was still in practice, I treated a Vietnam vet for a urologic condition. That part was an easy fix. What wasn't easy was his disabling PTSD. Back then, cannabis wasn't a widely discussed medicine as it is today, but I encouraged him to talk to his doctor or check out a local dispensary to learn more. I knew it might be another tool to help him find some peace. Some people with PTSD say cannabis helps them fall asleep, it quiets racing thoughts, and takes the edge off their flashbacks. The science is still catching up, but there's an idea that cannabis works with the endocannabinoid system, the network that helps regulate mood, stress, and sleep. THC, the compound that gets you high, may help dull the emotional punch of painful memories. CBD, the non-intoxicating sidekick, may help with anxiety and calmness. Some people find relief with one or the other, and others use a blend. Is it a magic fix? No. Cannabis isn't for everyone. High THC products can make some people feel more anxious. The key is starting low, going slow, and if possible, working with a healthcare provider who knows cannabis. Research is growing, but early signs are promising. For now, many people combine cannabis with therapy, exercise, and other healthy habits. It's not a magic fix, but for some, it's one more tool for calmer days and better nights. Bottom line, if you're dealing with PTSD and thinking about cannabis, get advice tailored to you. For some, it's one more tool that can add a little peace of mind.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love it. Cannabis for the win. Yay, weed. CBD shows potential to reverse some neuropsychological effects on social stress. So picture this: social stress, especially during adolescence, bullying, being knocked down, constant subordination, the kind of social defeat in mice. Not so chill, right? Scientists in Spain and Germany modeled this by dropping teenage male mice into repeated social defeat setups. These mice ended up creeping into anxiety land, avoiding social interaction, showing more attraction to cocaine-associated environments, and shifting gene expression in parts of the brain tied to serotonin, the endocannabinoid system, and the HPA stress axis. Here's the kicker. They pre-treated some of those mice with CBD, either a low dose at 30 milligrams. That seems like a lot. But for the high dose was 60 milligrams for a little mouse, a little mousey getting high as hell. before each defeat episode. And guess what? CBD didn't fix everything, but it did reverse the social avoidance vibe. Those beaten down mice were back to interacting socially, not hiding in the corner. Plus, it erased their boosted love for cocaine reward, which is wild. Because stress often primes animals or humans to find drugs more rewarding. So they didn't like the cocaine anymore.
Yeah.
But they like the weed. I love it. Or CBD, actually. Then they looked under the hood into the brain gene expression. The social stress had knocked down stuff like serotonin transporter levels in the dorsal raphe nucleus, the CB1 and CB2 receptor expression, and the hippocampus. And key HPA axis players like, why do I always get the hard words, Mrs. Weeman? The corticotropion releasing factor and the proprimolethacortin in the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus.
Good try, for effort.
I think I got them about 85% correct.
Pretty spot on.
Just those the corticotropion and the propiomelanocortin. And the hypothalamus. I got that one right.
Brain parts.
Yes, all brain parts. CBD came in and brought those levels back toward normal. Though dose mattered, the high dose got serotonin transporter and CBD1 levels back up, while the low dose selectively boosted CB2 in stressed mice. Interestingly, the glucocortid receptor, the NR3C1, was up by stress, but CBD didn't bulge it. So in plain terms, CBD isn't the magic wand. Some pathways stayed altered, but it did the job where it mattered. Social interaction and drug reward sensitivity. And those changes lined up with fixes in the brain chemistry tied to mood and stress regulation. The researchers were clear that this is early stuff. Rodent only, male only, and limited doses tested. They're planning on future runs on female mice and maybe even human clinical trials. So humans are going to go and get cocaine. That's actually the reward. And then hopefully the CBD stops them from getting cocaine. They don't know humans that like cocaine very much than these scientists. They'll do both. Oh, shit. The breakdown. Chronic social stress during adolescence fucks you up socially and biologically. CBD pre-treatment helped mice return to social life and knocked out the stress-boosted cocaine craving. On a molecular level, CBD reversed stress-induced changes in serotonin transporters, CB1 and CB2 receptors, and HPA axis genes, but not everything. The NR3C1 stayed elevated. Dose matters. High dose helped serotonin and CB1. Low dose targeted CB2 in stressed mice. Only male mice. The caveats are only male mice, only 2 doses. Separate groups for behavior versus gene data. Future direction. Test females, optimize dosage, and hopefully move forward real human applicable stuff. I want to see mice on cocaine.
You could probably find a YouTube.
I'm sure. But I want to see what they're like on cocaine. Are they like crazy? We'll watch it we'll check it on YouTube later, but I really want to see what mice are like on cocaine. So
there's videos.
Is there videos? Oh, perfect. So we'll have to look at them later and laugh while we're really stoned. Cannabis and organ transplants. What you need to know by Green State. Tell us about them, Ms. Weeman.
Currently, there are over 100,000 people on the National Organ Transplant waiting list, with 13 people dying every day waiting for an organ transplant. With such an intense shortage of organ donors, choosing an organ recipient can be very complicated. Due to the shortage of organs, transplant centers are disqualifying potential patients from receiving a transplant for a multitude of reasons. This means a transplant center can decide not to give a transplant to someone because of their cannabis use, regardless of whether if it's for medical or recreational purposes. Many argue that because organs are in such high demand, those with the highest chances of success should be prioritized, and the potential long term effects of cannabis use on organs could diminish the chance of success. With 24 states legalizing recreational cannabis use, the number of cannabis users has steadily increased. However, proponents of protecting cannabis users cite studies that indicate there is no correlation between cannabis use and problems with organ transplants. A survey of transplant providers showed that 68% of providers said that they would allow listing a patient on the registry if they use medical cannabis. However, only 27.5% of providers listed a patient if they used cannabis recreationally. Do they not realize it's the same drug? In some centers, providers will ban cannabis use in any form. This issue is further complicated by the lack of clear laws around it. While some states like Alabama and California have passed laws that prevent cannabis use as the sole reason for organ denial, patients in other states are often left with uncertainty, as cannabis could be legal in that state, but they could still be denied a transplant. As cannabis use continues to spread through the cultural consciousness and the law, this topic continues to increase in importance as patients potentially are denied life-saving treatment. This is definitely a controversial situation that we will continue to cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what do you think? I think that...
I have two family members that
Right.
have had organ transplants.
And they've used cannabis in a beneficial medical way,
Yes.
like we do, medical and also recreationally.
Right.
But they're healthy people.
Mm-hmm.
They need an organ
Yeah.
so that they can live.
Yeah.
They take care of themselves.
Yep.
They go to their doctors. They take their medicines. They're doing what they need to
Yep.
do. So I think they should get a kidney or whatever organ they need, just like anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. I will. I think I have an article that I read for next week's episode that talks about cannabis and kidney transplant, or cannabis and kidneys. So I got to read up on that because we have two family members that have had kidney transplants, and I mean, my bro is good. He smokes weed every day, every day. So, the impact of cannabis use on aging and longevity. A systematic review on research insights. Sonam Nian, Narajan Singh, and Katrin Schlag, and Michael Barnes. And this is by the Journal of Cannabis Research. So cannabis and aging, a heady combo, right? The systematic review by Nain and crew dug through literally thousands of studies, but zeroed in on just 18 that looked directly at how cannabinoids influence aging lifespan. 11 preclinical and 7 human focused. What did the preclinical model reveal? In simple terms, they're dope. In C. elegans, those tiny worms, long-term CBD exposure boosted their max lifespan by 18%, improved their late life movement, and even protected them against amyloid neurotoxicity. It did this by triggering autophagy and activating the SIRT1 longevity pathway. I didn't even know we had a longevity pathway. Did
I
you,
don't even know what that is.
But I want to find out. With our stripy friends, zebrafish, CBD exposure early on raised some questions around developmental impacts. Meanwhile, low-dose THC exposure led to increased survival and egg production, but higher doses. Not so kind hurt their offspring and reproduction. Fruit flies, Drosophila, got in the action too. A sweet spot dose of CBD extended their lifespan, and both CBD and THC helped after traumatic brain injury. Neuroproductive magic, basically. In mice, especially older ones, low-dose THC improved memory, there's synaptic spine density, and the hippocampus, and cognitive performance. Those mice, man, getting all the love. But heads up, young mice got worse, not better. And the delivery matters. and transitional low-dose THC helped aged Alzheimer's modeled mice remember better and reduce protein buildup. Mixing THC and CBD, that didn't always play nice. CBD may alter the THC metabolism, muddying the effects. Another cool combo, CBD plus omega-3 in mice on high-fat diets led to longer lifespans, better stroke outcomes, and healthier aristocrat activity in the brain. Now, what about humans? The evidence is thinner, but still interesting. Cannabis use is on the rise among older adults. Think 50 to 64-year-olds in the U.S., doubling from 9% to 17%. And those 65 plus, almost doubling too. Canada reports over 15% use among people averaging 73 years old, mostly for pain, sleep, anxiety, and depression. Some observational studies flagged trauma, especially lifelong or adolescent heavy use with poor executive function, verbal memory, and reduced gray matter in key brain areas later in life. On the flip, older users who started later or used recreationally show increased neural cognitivity, like their hippocampus talking better to other brain regions, maybe buffering age-related declines. A trio of users profiles matters: new users, intermediate users, and lifelong users. Each group shows different outcomes, knowing whose matter for clarity and research. Real-world evidence from medicinal cannabis suggests older patients using cannabis-based medicinal products report improved sleep, pain, mood, and some even slash opioid use. So here's the full breakdown. Some highlights. Preclinical models. Worms, fish, flies, and mice show CBD and low-dose THC can support longevity. Health span, neuroprotection. There's a spider just crawled down here.
Oh no.
Little
really?
Baby one.
Right in front of your face?
It was a baby one. Yeah, right in front of my face. little baby one.
Let me get you a tissue.
Oh, man. Sorry, everybody. Oh, shit. Every once in a while, spider sat down beside her.
Yeah, can't stop nature.
How's that rhyme go?
Little Miss Muffet
sat on her tuffet,
eating her curds and whey.
Yeah. Along came a spider.
And sat down beside her and
It's
said,
scared.
"What the fuck you eating?"
No.
What's
up, bitch? What's in the bowl, bitch? Hey-o!
I said, "What the fuck are you eating?" What's in the bowl, bitch?
What's in the bowl, bitch?
Hey.
Little Andrew Dice Clay.
What the fuck you eating?
Hey, what the fuck you eating? It's a new line. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. I'm dying right now. All right. So where were we? Oh, so an anti-inflammatory pathways, sometimes synergy with omega-3s. There is there's effects are biphasic effects are a real thing. Low dose can be beneficial. High dose risk damage, especially to offspring in fish or brain function in younger animals. Human data is thin, but rising use among older folks, pain, sleep, and mood. Heavy lifelong use, especially starting early, correlates with cognitive decline, but starting cannabis later in life might offer cognitivity and quality of life upsides. Real-world medicinal use hints at benefits: pain relief, mood lift, better sleep, fewer opioids. We need stronger controlled trials. Key unknowns: optimal doses and delivery, THC versus CBD versus combo effects, long-term risks versus rewards, and how cannabinoids like CBG and CBN and other terpenes might modulate aging effects. No magic cannabis elixir for aging, but a compelling case for nuanced, targeted research. And hey, aging well still ties back to the basics: good diet, movement, rest, stress chilling, and some sunlight.
Sunlight.
So good for you. You don't need much. 15 minutes a day. Ms. Weeman likes her sunlight. Even taking like a walk on some clean grass or a beach.
Oh my gosh.
It's good for you.
Game changer.
Game changer. You take all the bad stuff that goes into the ground and they use it, and you get their good stuff into your body.
Energy.
That's it. Good energy. You need it. What are 7 diseases that can be treated with medical marijuana, Mrs. Weeman?
All right. Over the past 4 decades, treating diseases with medical marijuana has been on the rise. The credibility of cannabis has grown in the medical community as a possible solution to treat chronic conditions and diseases. While marijuana hasn't demonstrated that it is the ultimate solution or cure to end a disease in general, it can help soothe the effects of chronic diseases, inhibit diseases from developing at a rapid pace, and possibly become a replacement for opioids to handle emotional and physical pain. Marijuana is known to positively contribute to 7 diseases. The first, depression. A study from the University of Buffalo's Research Institute on Addiction tested how marijuana affected chronic stress in rats and used this information to coincide with equivalent human responses. Researchers found that when the rats were bound by restraints for long periods of time, the production of their brain's endocannabinoids rapidly decreased. In regard to human beings in long-term stressful situations, the endocannabinoid receptors influence how well a person can process thoughts, gauge emotions, and behave. And they even can impact a person's cognitive ability to handle pain and anxiety. When there is a lack of endocannabinoid production in the brain, an individual is at risk of developing depression. Marijuana can play a role in restoring cannabinoids, such as THC and CBD, in the endocannabinoid system and helping to ease depression. And the next one is anxiety, number 2. Like depression, anxiety reduces endocannabinoid production in the brain and inhibits an individual's ability to cope with pain and stress. However, the use of marijuana to treat anxiety can go either way. It can either deplete anxiety or increase it. While marijuana is meant to bring a person into a tranquil state, some individuals possess a brain chemistry that simply does not react well with the plant's chemicals. In other cases, marijuana has been able to prevent unwanted anxiety attacks, stimulate a calmer flight or fight response to stress, and altogether provide the user with a high that releases any tension in the body. I think that's all good.
Yeah.
Epilepsy is number 3. Given that epilepsy is a cause of seizures, medical scientists have created a specific CBD formula that is proven safe for individuals to use because it possesses little to no effect on the sensitive psychoactivity of epilepsy patients. Some of the first tests with marijuana, such as a 2015 test at the NYU Langone Medical Center, actually demonstrated that it had the ability to suppress seizures. Because of this, researchers and developers have been able to manipulate marijuana compounds, tailoring them to an individual's epileptic condition. Next one, moving on, number 4, Alzheimer's. Marijuana diminishes the intensity of hallucinations, improves poor sleeping habits, and stops aggressive outbursts suffered by individuals with Alzheimer's. The main source of Alzheimer's is its rapid production of beta amyloid proteins, which cause plaques to develop in the brain and dangerously reduce the necessary peptides and amino acids that enable one to properly function. Marijuana can slow this buildup of proteins, preventing existing Alzheimer's from deteriorating an individual's brain. That's pretty good. And like the combative state too, like to be able to give someone just to help them be calm.
Yep.
You know? 5, HIV and AIDS. The HIV virus weakens the immune system, but marijuana softens the impact of disorienting and uncomfortable symptoms of a weak immune system, such as nausea, muscle and joint pain, loss of appetite, severe headaches, and fevers. Furthermore, in a study from Spain in 2008, marijuana was proven to prevent chemical reactions in the body that create HIV compounds. 6, cancer. While marijuana does not fundamentally cure cancer or diminish its symptoms, it is able to reduce the discomfort in certain treatments that many cancer patients undergo. Cancer patients who use medical marijuana endure a lessened amount of inevitable nausea and vomiting caused by their chemotherapy treatments. Furthermore, cannabinoids improve appetite and can ease neuropathic pain that is a result of severe nerve damage caused by chemotherapy. And 7. Drug addiction. Go figure. Though it seems counterintuitive, recovering addicts can use medical marijuana to reverse the effects of opioid addiction, decrease unwanted drug cravings, and even diminish the emotional and physical symptoms of addiction in general. This is due to the chemical compounds of cannabinol, the chemical compound of cannabidiol, which binds to brain receptors and induces a safer high. It also counteracts impairment and mental damage caused by long-term drug use. Marijuana can even replace addictive painkillers since it targets the same nerve receptors as opioids without putting the user at risk for chronic addiction. So, what disease do you think you could treat with cannabis?
Yeah, tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, if you have an ailment and you find help, I mean, the more we talk about it, the more people learn.
Let us know.
So share.
I mean, we've talked about a lot of different ailments on here that cannabis helps or treats or, and we want to know more. Yeah. Tell us. Mm-hmm. I was thinking while you were reading that article, in 352 episodes we've recorded between the Chronicles and the Grower, I've never had a spider come from our ceiling on a fucking web. And it was a little baby one. I hate killing spiders. I love spiders. But this thing freaked the shit out of me. And I just went, whoa. But it was like slowly coming down. I thought it was my eyes. I thought it was the super boof getting me, And all of a sudden I'm like, no, that's a fucking spider.
Like, am I seeing things?
Yeah.
Swear I just saw a spider. I don't know.
Mrs. Weeman doesn't like spiders. She likes them outside. Yeah. Not inside.
They're fine.
Yeah, fine outside.
Don't be around me.
Yeah, don't.
I just get too itchy. Like it instantly
bug,
becomes
but
like,
any bug. Yeah, any bug.
You get the creepy crawlies on your skin. And, Yeah. I don't really mind bugs. I just don't want them near me.
Right. Yeah, they have a purpose. Right. But not in our house.
Not on my body. Go away.
That was crazy.
Yeah,
that was a lot of episodes too. Like not to have ever a spider, or any kind of bug. I think I've had it like a gnat or something, or a fruit fly or something, but never a speeder. Political state and business news. Oklahoma's cannabis scene just hit bargain bin status. Like wholesale vape cartridges for under $10. Concentrates for $4.83 and pre-rolls around $3.72. Wow. Flour goes for a pound of $500 to $999. Thanks to oversupply and fierce competition. Consumers are doing cartwheels, but growers, they're sweating slim margins and expecting a shakeout soon. Big whoop. Cheap weed, folks, but the hustle in Oklahoma is getting real. I've been there twice.
Yeah.
To sell some weed.
You came home with a suitcase full of
came home with a fucking suitcase full of shit. Like
no joke.
That shit. I gave away free vapes and free edibles
for
and free
a minute.
For like a good
long minute.
And I tell you what,
one for you, one for you, one for you.
I love going to Oklahoma to sell weed. I love it there. I love Tulsa. It's got a very special place in my heart. And the Mercury Lounge, I love you. Any place that plays country punk, I have to take Mrs. Weedman there. And everybody has taxidermies hanging from their wall, and just you have a special place in my heart. And plus, you're 420 friendly. You do a big 420.
I can appreciate all of that.
And you have ice cold high life. Mwah. And but when I went there, I went to OKC and I went to Tulsa, and I like both cities a lot, but Tulsa, like I said, has a special place in my heart. And but when you visit the dispensaries, they have a lot of weed, and there's deli style. I mean, like I said, when I went out there, they were what was it, like 5,000 milligrams for like $30, and this was 2021, 2022. Then a couple of years later, we saw someone like they made like a 10,000 milligram edible.
That's insane.
For $100.
For $100.
$100, $1 a milligram. No,
That's crazy.
more than that. No, less than that. Like what was it, like a
10
penny?
cents.
Yeah, 10 cents a milligram. Crazy.
That's
You're all
nuts.
out there nuts. Crazy. But I love you out there. I love Oklahoma. I love Tulsa. So much fun. I can't wait to go back. We should take a road trip and go out to Tulsa because it's a good time. Colorado just crossed a green milestone, over $3 billion in pot taxes and fees raked in since recreational sales began in 2014, funding schools, mental health programs, and local government projects. I wonder what those projects are. But here's the trip. Sales are nosediving, down 37% from 2021, and this year's already off 7% from last year. So yeah, tax stash is fat, but the biz, big question mark. Starting to feel a little slim. Think they're realizing price compression fucked you and just fighting against one another, you know? Once you go that way, it's hard to go back. So Governor Shapiro is calling for a full-on pardon party. All Pennsylvanians with past cannabis convictions should get a clean slate. It's time to right the wrongs of the past and let folks move forward without old baggage. Let's be real. If we're legalizing weed, why are we still holding out onto outdated convictions? Time to let go and let people live free. California's small cannabis farmers are getting squeezed out. Humboldt County, once the heart of the weed scene, now faces high taxes, red tape, and big corporations pushing them aside. Farmers like Dan Golden are refinancing land just to stay afloat. Despite promises, legalization benefits haven't trickled down. Now the OG cultivators are left high and dry while the green rush cashes in. Just remember OG, not original gangster, even though I love it. Ocean grown. Maryland Governor Wes Moore just dropped a truth bomb. Cannabis legalization outshined his gubernatorial campaign. He joked, "One thing that beat me in the ballot, cannabis." It did better than him. But he's not just laughing, he's acting. Moore issued the largest mass pardon in U.S. history, clearing over 175,000 cannabis convictions. His motto, legal weed, fair play, and writings past wrongs. Pretty good, Governor. Yep, pretty good. A coalition of anti-marijuana law enforcement and religious groups is urging President Trump to oppose rescheduling cannabis to Schedule 3. They argue it would grant dispensaries and drug dealers a massive tax break estimated $2 billion annually. SAM President Kevin Sabet emphasizes the need to protect children and public safety, asserting that marijuana remains an addictive drug with high abuse potential. Listen, Kevin. It's been proven wrong. Listen to the past 6 years of this show and listen to many other shows. Get up on. Oh man, I'm so tired of them just fight. Why didn't you fight this hard about alcohol that kills 100,000 people a year? Tobacco. Kevin, listen to me, Kevin. Weed has killed nobody. And you're fighting on the wrong side because we're going to win. Sam, I am at Green Eggs and Ham. The Government Accountability Office just dropped a truth bomb on federal anti-drug campaigns. Too many mixed messages. The report highlights how the Office of National Drug Control Policy has been dishing out conflicting into about marijuana and other substances, potentially confusing the public. Experts say these mixed signals could be undermining the effectiveness of anti-drug efforts. Time for a message makeover, folks. Google's lighting up the digital billboard for Canadian cannabis businesses. It started on August 25th of 2025. They're running a 20-week pilot program letting federally licensed dispensaries and producers advertise on search. No more shadowy SEO tricks, just legit ads for legit businesses. It's a test, but if it clicks, we might see a whole new era of cannabis marketing, and maybe here in the States. Be great. At the U.S. Open, tennis star Casper Rudd is serving up complaints about the lingering aroma of cannabis in New York City. The 26-year-old Norwegian expressed that the pervasive weed smell is affecting his focus during matches. While some fans might find it a sign of relaxed atmosphere, Rudd's performance seems to be taking a hit. Maybe you're just not playing well. Maybe it's time for a puff of concentration. I believe he wasn't playing well, but that's just me.
He's in a slump. He's
or
blaming
stumper.
it on weed.
Yep.
I think that's what's
for his
happening.
bad tennis play.
Yeah.
Terrible. Missouri's cannabis scene is about to get a makeover. Activists are getting up to file a 2026 ballot initiative aiming to unify hemp and marijuana regulations. The plan, a streamlined licensing system and fair market access, but not everyone's on board. Some fear it could undo 2022's legalization law. Still, the push is on the playing field.
That'll be interesting.
Yep.
They're having a pretty decent run with their market.
Who? Missouri?
Missouri.
Yeah. But they just want to,
I know.
it's the whole thing with hemp right now.
Hemp.
There's really no regulations with hemp.
I got you.
So new dispensaries might be coming to 3650 North Clark Street, Wrigleyville, just a stone throw from Wrigleyville. Entourage Holdings LLC is eyeing the spot, aiming to serve both recreational and medical cannabis users. However, the company faces challenges in securing a social equity license, a crucial step for eligibility. If successful, the location could become a go-to spot for fans and locals alike. Home team. A major data breach has exposed nearly 1 million medical marijuana patient records, including social security numbers, medical histories, and mental health evaluations.
Not good.
The unsecured database was discovered by security researcher Jeremy Fowler and linked it to Ohio Medical Alliance, LLC, operating as Ohio Marijuana Card. The company has since removed the data and declined further comment pending on internal investigation. Not good. No bueno.
Not good for them.
Now over to you. I'm passing the joint over to you, Mrs.
All right.
Weedman.
Moving on with some more political, state, and business news. A man was sentenced for robbing San Francisco International Airport employees of trash bags, but they were filled with weed. The bags reportedly contained cannabis, and they were taken from employees, leading to legal consequences. The incident highlights ongoing issues related to cannabis security and regulation. Sounds like everybody wants to own the, what's that box called? The amnesty box.
Yep. The green machine box.
Everybody has they've got a lotto for who gets to take the amnesty box home that day.
I want to take it home too.
Anchorage, Alaska was all set to roll out a public marijuana consumption ordinance, but it got the red light. Assembly voted 7-3 to indefinitely postpone the plan, which would have allowed on-site smoking at licensed dispensaries. Supporters argue it's a safer, legal alternative to street smoking. Opponents raised health concerns, citing secondhand smoke risks. Looks like the debate is far from over. Moving on to congressional researchers who are lighting up a debate over hemp and THC. A new report reveals lawmakers are split on whether to redefine hemp to include all cannabis derivatives with less than 0.3% THC. The 2018 Farm Bill legalized hemp, but now products with low THC but high potency are raising eyebrows. States are challenging these products, and Congress is considering a federal fix. Virginia, their Senate President pro tem, Louise Lucas, is pushing to legalize recreational cannabis sales, not just for the vibes, but to balance their budget. With federal spending cuts looming under the Trump administration, Lucas says it's time to generate sustainable revenue. Despite previous vetoes, lawmakers are revisiting the idea, aiming to phase a rollout with strong oversight. Looks like Virginia might be rolling in green, both literally and fiscally. Connecticut, hemp farmers are taking the state to court over new THC rules that have slashed licenses by 80%. The lawsuit argues that the state's stricter THC limits defy federal definitions, threatening their livelihoods. Farmers are seeking a declaratory judgment, and injunctive relief to align state regulations with federal standards. Looks like Connecticut's hemp scene is in for a legal showdown. The cannabis industry is facing a financial reckoning with $6 billion, I've been reading about this all week long, in debt that is all maturing by the end of 2026. The top 5 borrowers account for $3.4 billion of that debt, including major players like Curaleaf, Air Wellness, Trulieve, Cresco Labs, and Verano Holdings. As the clock ticks, the question looms: how will these companies navigate this financial storm to avoid collapse? Arkansas, they are tightening their grip on hemp-derived THC products too. A new law caps THC at 1 milligram per container and bans intoxicating derivatives like Delta 8 and 9. The Tobacco Control Board now oversees enforcement. While medical marijuana remains unaffected, hemp businesses face challenges. The move aims to protect public health and prevent youth access, but it is causing a stir among local producers. Ohio dispensaries are rolling out pre-rolls. After a year of anticipation, the Division of Cannabis Control approved single-serving units for sale. Oh, it's about time. I didn't even realize, I thought they were doing that already.
They sell everything.
Packages of them, but not
Yeah.
a single.
Right.
Is that
I
really just what?
believe
Yeah,
so.
single serving units. Medical patients can now purchase standard pre rolls made with raw cannabis flower, while adult use customers have access to both standard and infused versions. Cultivators like Pure Ohio Wellness and Fireland Scientific are ready to meet the demand. Availability varies by location, so check with your local dispensary.
Fastest moving segment in the industry right now is a pre-roll.
Roger Stone is urging Trump to reschedule cannabis as a step toward full descheduling. He argues that rescheduling would align federal policy with public opinion, reduce IRS burdens, and open access to banking and research. Stone believes this move would correct a significant disconnect between Washington and the American people. He emphasizes that rescheduling is a critical next step and not the final goal. A federal appeals court has ruled that the government must prove that people who use marijuana pose a risk of future danger if it wants to justify applying a law banning cannabis consumers from owning firearms. The court sided with the federal district court that dismissed an indictment against Jared Michael Harrison, who was charged in Oklahoma in 2022 after police discovered cannabis and a handgun in his vehicle during a traffic stop. The case has now been remanded to that lower court, which determined that the current statute being unlawful users of marijuana this case has now been remanded to that lower court, which determined that the current statute banning unlawful users of marijuana from possessing firearms, known as 922G3, it does actually violate the Second Amendment of the Constitution. So, interesting news around the world, or at least around the United States, that we talked about today.
You're going to pass that joint
And
over?
I'm going to pass the joint, and I'm going to pass the talking over to you, Mr. Weedman.
Love it. Right back to the political state and business news. Ohio lawmakers are revisiting cannabis legislation this September, aiming to fine-tune, not overhaul, the 2024 legalization. Proposed changes including regulating Delta 8 THC products, enhancing child-resistant packaging, and ensuring local governments receive their 36% share of cannabis tax revenue. Notably, discussions on raising taxes or restricting home cultivation have been largely dismissed. The focus remains on sensible regulations to align with voter intent. Smoke break. Super boof. Thanks, Big Girl.
Super boof.
Really good. It tastes so good.
Tasty.
All right. Smoke break's over. California Cannabis Restoration Grant Program is funding a $3.9 million boost to the Monterey Bay Salmon and Trout Project Kingfishery Flat Conservation Hatchery in Santa Cruz County. Whew, that was a lot. This hatchery is the only coho salmon conservation facility south of San Francisco Bay and has been crucial in preventing the extinction of coho salmon in the region. The grant supports broad stock operations, education, and infrastructure repair. Democratic lawmakers have reintroduced that bill, the MORE Act, aiming to deschedule cannabis federally. The bill includes provisions for expunging nonviolent federal marijuana convictions, preventing discrimination in federal benefits and immigration, and allocating tax revenue to community reinvestment, substances, misuse treatment, and small business support. While it doesn't mandate state-level legalization, it offers incentives to promote equity and justice in the cannabis policy. Gotta say something. Gotta say something. You don't have the House and you don't have the Senate. Why would you introduce this bill when you don't have control of either one? All three, actually. All four. Because, I mean, I don't understand why you would do this without coming across the table to try to get this passed with people who on both sides. This has to be a bipartisan bill. You're never going to pass this. You're just throwing another carrot dangling to everybody going, look, the MORE Act's back. Great. You didn't pass it when the last president was in. You didn't pass it when the last president was in, 45. And you didn't do it when 44 was in and when he was 43. So what is going to convince me that you're going to have a fucking speck of chance to even get this through? I just don't understand your thinking on this unless you're coming across the table, which you refuse to do. None of you are all getting along in fucking Washington right now, so nothing's going to get passed that you want. So you need to start bucking up and being friendly around one another so we can get some laws passed on both sides of the aisle, because it's just terrible that you're bringing this up again. As excited as I would love to see this pass, you're just dangling another carrot in front of all of us that follow this. So Texas is cracking down on THC vapes It started on Monday, September 1st. Senate Bill 2024 makes it a Class A misdemeanor to sell vapes containing cannabinoids like Delta 8, with penalties up to a year in jail and $4,000 fine. Supporters say it's to protect teens. Opponents warn it could fuel the black market. ATX Organics is already clearing out its vape stock ahead of the ban. Man. Also in Texas, lawmakers have hit pause on a proposed THC ban as the special legislative session nears its end. Senate Bill 6, aiming to outlaw all cannabinoids except CBD and CBG, has stalled in the House. With the session winding down, it seems hemp-derived THC will remain legal for now, but expect stricter enforcement of existing laws. New Mexico's cannabis industry is coming together under the Cannabis Association of New Mexico. The association aims to address challenges like tax burdens, regulatory hurdles, and market saturation. By uniting businesses, CANM seeks to advocate for reform and ensure that state cannabis markets thrives. The move reflects the collective effort to strengthen the industry and promote sustainable growth. Maryland's cannabis community gathered at the Maryland Marketplace event to foster collaborations and growth. Held near Baltimore, the event featured fireside chats and networking opportunities, focused on building a supportive ecosystem for cannabis operators. Attendees, including social equity licenses, emphasized the importance of community and shared success. The event aimed to remove barriers and unite the industry for sustainable growth. Delaware's cannabis scene is buzzing with controversy after Governor Matt Meyer vetoed a bill that would have relaxed local zoning restrictions for marijuana retail stores. The veto has left cannabis advocates and lawmakers frustrated as it leaves counties more restrictive rules in place. Meyer defended his decision, citing the importance of local control and expressing concerns over the proposed setback requirements for schools. Michigan Cannabis Regulatory Agency has recalled over 26,000 vape cartridges from Sky Cannabis, including Motor City Canacarts, the Rips brands. The culprit, though, Mrs. Weedman, is medium chain triglycerides, MCT oil.
Mm-hmm.
Safe in food, but risky for your lungs when vaped. If you don't know what MCT oil is, we've talked about on the show, it's basically coconut. Yeah, it's basically coconut oil. So that you should not smoke. You can eat it all day long. We basically make our own MCT oil and we cook it with it all the time. It's great. Coconut oil, infused coconut oil is one of the best things to cook your edibles with, and food too. So it's not good to smoke though. So affected strains include Georgia Pie, Confetti Cake, Tropic Thunder, and more. If you got one, return it to your dispensary or dispose of it safely. They called it the oil gate in Missouri when they were making it with MCT oil. The vape cartridges too was a big thing, and then everyone thought everybody's shit was infected with MCT oil for a while there. So
It's bad.
Yeah, don't be smoking that shit. So California lawmakers are hitting pause on recent cannabis tax hike. A Senate committee approved a bill to delay the 4% excise tax increase for 5 years. Good for you, California. Giving the industry some breathing room. Additionally, proposals to revise regulations and allow medical cannabis businesses to ship products directly to patients are advancing. These moves aim to support the state's cannabis market and address industry challenges. The USDA's hemp valuation is getting roasted. A new report from Whitney Economics reveals the agency's method lumps high-value floral hemp with low-value biomass, massively undercounting the crop's worth. While floral hemp can fetch $330 a pound, USDA is averaging it with $2 a pound biomass, making farmers look less profitable. The misstep could discourage investment and skew policy decisions. 9 GOP lawmakers, led by Representative Pete Sessions of Texas, are urging Attorney General Pam Bondi to reject the proposed rescheduling of marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. They argue that such a move would benefit big marijuana and foreign drug cartels, sending the wrong message to youth and potentially granting billions in federal tax breaks to illegal operations. What? What? Now, I can understand the message to the youth. I always get that. But you've been preaching the war on drugs to the youth for a very long time now. And it's worked in some ways and it hasn't worked in a lot of ways.
Well, it was a lot of lies.
Right. 100%.
And scare tactics rather than informative, education.
Right. So what you're doing here, the 9 GOP lawmakers, is by you just keeping it just for the states to handle, you're not giving us the freedom to be able to in this country of making it federally illegal. Just like alcohol, just like tobacco. Make it the same. I don't see you arguing about liquor being more kids get drunk.
True.
And do stupid shit. A lot of stupid shit. A lot of kids get hooked on vapes and smoking cigs. More so vapes nowadays.
Yeah, the vape.
The nicotine vapes. And you're not doing it. Just education is key when it comes to cannabis, and us as being responsible users of cannabis who have been using it for a very long time responsibly. We are the ones that are teaching the people how to use it correctly. Not you, Sessions and the 9 GOP lawmakers. Stop fighting this. It shouldn't even be on the schedule. It should be considered classed as where alcohol and tobacco are at and run by the Alcohol Tobacco Commission, at least get it somewhere off the scheduling list. Just such asinine. It's just terrible. Just nonstop. Just dangling the carrot. These people, no. These people, yes. Man, it's brutal. It gets very tiring after a while.
Well, like I just read, what was it, Virginia? They're just opening a weed market because they want the money. Not because it's what their constituents want. Not because people are demanding it. Not because it should just be legal. But because they just want the cash flow.
Right. That's every government.
Oh, I know.
Every government
but that's like just so blatant.
Sees what like Illinois is doing billion. Like look at Colorado, $3 billion. Illinois did $460 million last year, and none of you deserve it. You don't do what's right for. Very few things are done right with the cannabis money. It should be a 10%.
There should be an accountability factor on how they dog ear where this money is going, and
we could see
it never arrives.
We can see where it goes to, but does it all get there? Is the question. Is it really doing what they're saying? I don't believe that any of this should go to the police force. Any of this tax money needs to be reinvested in the communities, schools, helping the poor, homeless veterans, stuff that it needs to. And some states do that. I'm not saying all states, but if it's going back to the police force, this cannabis money who have thrown us in jails and forever for weed and
criminalized it.
Right.
I mean, that was their job to keep it off the streets.
Yeah. And it's just that where it should never go past 10% tax. Just like, every state, it should be across the board 10% flat tax or 5% flat tax if you're recreational. There should be no tax for medical, and it's just 1%. Okay, fine. But it's just wrong, so wrong to keep on just this stupid circle that we're playing. It's just aggravating now. Mm-hmm. I don't give a fuck what you guys do. I'm still going to do what I do.
Yeah. Just want to be left alone.
Right. Like 90% of us just want to live our lives and be fucking make a good living.
Be able to decide how I want to live it and what I want to do with my property.
I don't want government in my fucking house. So yeah, I understand you need some regulations, you need some rules so you don't fuck shit up. But I don't want them telling me what.
They don't need to micromanage us.
You'll get fucked. So High Times is back, and I've been enjoying reading some of their articles lately. And here's another one Mrs. Weedman's gonna read you. It's called "The Rebrand no one asked for. And some of the stuff we were just talking about in the last 2 or 3 minutes, it kind of this article kind of hits home, and I love it, love it, love it, love it. Tell us about it, Ms. Weeman.
Okay, here's the scene. A white-walled, hermetically sealed dispensary that looks less like a place to buy weed and more like a backdrop from 2001's Space Odyssey. It smells faintly of ionized air conditioning and plastic, sleek iPads, LED mood lighting, and a curated playlist engineered to keep you calm and to tip your tenders. Controlled, unthreatening. Cannabis isn't just a drug anymore, and dispensaries aren't just drug stores. They're minimalist retail temples selling $300 zips with a brand copied straight out of an organic fever dream. Weed comes in all shapes, sizes, modalities, and marketing languages. Gummies for sleep, pre-rolls for mindfulness, tinctures for your inner child. There's something for everyone. But is there? Really? Because if modern weed culture truly is for everyone, why do I, a 20-year vet of the culture with no arrest record, no tragic war story, feel like an alien in this showroom? And more importantly, if I feel like a fish out of water, how does this place feel to someone who's actually been through it? The marginalized, the oppressed, the people who caught cases and lost years, the ones who lit up to stay sane in an insane world, the ones who weren't offered wellness but had to create it out of necessity against systemic violence and criminalization. Can you gentrify a plant the same way you gentrify a block? Can you sand down the rough edges, remove the politics, and bleach the history without rewriting or simply ignoring it? Because it sure as hell feels like you can. And worse, it kind of feels like we already did. Before wellness, there was rebellion. For decades, cannabis lived in the margins. It showed up where it was needed, quietly, generously, hand to hand, like communion. In Harlem jazz clubs, dorm rooms, mystic meditation sanctuaries, a Chicano backyard, outside a corner bodega, in communes full of long-haired deviants who thought patchouli was Sanskrit for enlightenment. It was medicine when medicine was inaccessible. Relief from pain, trauma, mental illness in poor, queer, and chronically ill communities. It was the escape hatch, the life raft, the thing that let you eat, the thing that helped you sleep. But it was so much more than that. It was language, belonging. It was, and still is, a gentle yet generous thing. Cannabis was a culture banner waved among musicians, Rastas, punks, zoot suiters, beatniks, weirdos, popularized by Bob Dylan, Allen Ginsberg, Carl Sagan, Cheech and Chong, Cypress Hill, and your cousin from Seattle who rolled a good backwood. It symbolized freedom in altered states, a protest against conformity, war, and the prison industrial machine. What was once traditional medicine used in rites, rituals, and religions has been rebranded over the last decade, slapped with a coat of paint called wellness. Scrubbed and sanitized, white walls and QR codes, loyalty programs, and app logins. When you clean something thoroughly, you wipe off the fingerprints, lose the context, erase the people who kept it alive. Some folks still have felonies, while others post weed reviews on Instagram. That feels like a hell of a price to pay for legalization. And that word, legalization, it's doing a whole lot of heavy lifting. Cannabis has always terrified the powerful, not because it killed, but because it's hard to control. It carried a sense of belonging. They couldn't tax it. They couldn't lock it in a cage. Its rap sheet spans dynasties and empires, shunned by emperors in the 600 CE China, feared in 14th century Arabia, exiled from 17th century Madagascar. By the time the British were running spice routes, weed wasn't just a plant, it was a problem. A political problem you had to burn at the stake. Fast forward to America, early 1900s. Same paranoia, new targets. After the Mexican Revolution, migrants brought marijuana as part of their culture, and it didn't take long before that was twisted into a threat. Enter El Paso, 1914, the first U.S. prohibition law birthed by racist fairy tales about violent Mexican men on marijuana. It was simply fear dressed up as public safety. By 1937, the Marijuana Tax Act buried weed under paperwork. What was once medicine now meant 4 years in jail and fines. Then came the Boggs Act in 51, mandatory minimums, 2 to 10 years for a joint, 20,000 in fines. All of it paved the road for Nixon's masterstroke, the Controlled Substances Act of 1970. Cannabis was classified alongside heroin. It wasn't about danger. It was about scapegoats. Nixon's top advisor, John Ehrlichman, said, "We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be against the war or to be black. So we criminalized hippies with marijuana and the blacks with heroin. They didn't need facts. They needed villains." Reagan then took it further with harsher minimums, militarized raids, helicopters over Humboldt, as if they were growing plutonium in the redwoods. Minorities and folks in the Emerald Triangle were battered by felony charges, property raids, paranoia, stop and frisk, civil asset forfeiture, communities gutted, kids expelled for the smell of weed. Black and white Americans have the same use rates, but the arrest rate is nearly 4 times higher if your skin is dark. A felony meant no housing, no aid, no job. Weed was never the enemy, but those in power needed one. And now it's 2025. Weed is legal for some, but we're still seeing raids, crackdowns, and forgotten communities paying the price. The war never ended. It just filed an LLC. The path to freedom for those brutalized by prohibition has been a never-ending nightmare. Sure, cannabis is legal in many places, but legal for whom? The people hit hardest by the war on drugs? Well, they're watching from the bleachers because black ownership is under 2%. That doesn't feel like an oversight. It feels like design. Expungement moves like cold molasses and only applies if your record is otherwise clean. The industry's run by MSOs backed by billionaires and capital bros who've never had to stash weed under a car seat. They show up with their legal teams, generational wealth, venture capitalist checks big enough to buy out zip codes. They ride waves of licensing delays while equity applicants drown in red tape. Bureaucratic landmines, compliance mazes, application fees that'll make your eyelids twitch. Is that justice? Is that what legalization means? I've seen it. I worked for one of those shiny chains in South California. They can afford to play the long game. In this $30 billion gold rush, the people who risked everything, got jail time, raids, lost their kids, they got boxed out, repackaged, and sold back their own culture in Mylar bags. Equity programs are often hollow. Mentorship without money, it's just free labor. Partnership without ownership, exploitation. DEI without receipts, it's just PR. Donating 5% on 420, that's not justice. It's hush money. Justice means the people who built the culture aren't just in the room, they're at the head of the table. Legalization has scrubbed cannabis clean, disinfected it, repackaged it as wellness, selling $70 eighths with 40% tax. It's capitalism in a caftan. What cannabis stood for, insubordination, community, survival, that's been ghosted. Boutique branding, clean type, muted pastels, soft light, words like calm, elevate, soften, center. No history, no politics, just branded vibes. It swaps blunts for botanicals and distances itself from the hands that carried their sacred rebellion, selling plant medicine. Only the people who grow that medicine never had to duck cops or risk custody. Everyone wants a piece now that it's safe. Celebrities like Seth Rogen with his Brand Houseplant selling $300 ashtrays and $125 stash jars.
8 decades, they don't do that.
We don't do that. There's nothing counterculture about it. Can, backed by Gwyneth Paltrow and Rosario Dawson, calling itself a social tonic, not a drink. Other brands, Bebo, Miss Grass, Rose Los Angeles, they package weed as a supplement for stress, sex, and sleep. They speak wellness fluently, but say nothing of the war on drugs. This is gentrification. Weed's cultural roots stripped to make it palatable for the Whole Foods crowd. The price of entry is privilege. Why does it become acceptable only after it's been whitewashed and marked up? Well, there's good news. A few companies are actually doing it right. Like Ball Family Farms, an LA-based operation with in-house mentorship programs and no gatekeeping. And Josephine and Billy's, the first dispensary in America built by and for women of color. This is what it looks like when reparations come with receipts. There's economic inclusion and ownership. We can't undo history. We can't unchain cuffs or unburn fields. But legalization without justice isn't progress. It's a cultural facelift. The ones who've lived through hell deserve more than token speaking gigs. They deserve ownership and a check. And we, as consumers, have a role. We vote with our dollars. We ask hard questions. We push back, speak up, because this isn't just about weed. It never was. It's about who gets a seat at the table and who's left with an empty plate. Buy the gummies. Burn the pre-roll. Take the tincture for your inner child. But remember who built the industry. The outlaws did. And if you can see or feel them in the dispensary, or if you can't, ask why. And then keep asking until the room reflects the people who built it. Boom.
Yeah.
Was that Reginald?
No.
Well,
No.
that was kind of like a Reginald.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's when I read
1-2-1-2.
it the other day. I was like, "Oh, it sounds almost like one of my favorite journalists, Reginald Reefer." But no, pretty good. I don't know who. I know it came from High Times. Let me see who was the author on that one, because that was the hammer. Threw it down like Thor.
That was Lucas Indrikovs.
Yeah, really good journalism right there. I mean, just it's like everything we've been talking about in 6 years, wrapped it up in one article.
Yeah.
It was kind of nice. It fired me up. I love it. I love it. International news. Slovenia just rolled out Europe's most progressive medical cannabis laws. Doctors can now prescribe cannabis for any condition. Wow. With patients receiving a 1-month supply and a cannabis card for legal protection. THC remains controlled but is permitted for medical and scientific use. The Slovenian Agency for Medical Products will oversee licensing and regulations. The move is expected to boost Slovenia's medical cannabis market by to 55 million by 2029. Ghana's cannabis regulators are taking notes from Morocco. A recent meeting in Ankara with Morocco's ambassador focused on Morocco's cannabis licensing system, including licensing design, production, chain control, cooperative organization, and a variety of certification procedures. Ghana's plans to send personnel to Morocco in September to observation and training sessions. This collaboration aims to accelerate Ghana's implementation of its own medical and industrial cannabis licensing program. Learn how to make their hash, Ghana. And then send Mr. Weeman some. President Gustavo Petro is calling out Colombia's Congress for dragging its feet in cannabis legalization. Despite a recent bill passing its first committee, Petro warns that the cartels continue to profit from prohibition. He tweeted, "If Congress had legalized cannabis, we wouldn't have drug gang needlessly killing humble Colombians." With 8 tons of illegal weed recently seized, 8 tons, jeez. The president urges lawmakers to act swiftly. Peru is rolling out the green carpet for hemp. After passing law number 32195 in June 2024, the Ministry of Agrarian Development and Irrigation has launched a 90-day public consultation on hemp regulations. Citizen farmers and organizations can submit feedback online or in Lima. With diverse climates and soils, Peru is poised to become a hemp powerhouse, offering eco-friendly products and economic growth. The Cayman Islands are taking a bold step toward cannabis reform following a favorable referendum. The Law Reform Commission is now reviewing the decriminalization of small cannabis possessions. Legal experts, including Richard Barton and Ori Marin, are actively contributing to the process, ensuring that the new laws align with public opinion and international standards. Stay tuned as Cayman Islands move closer to more progressive cannabis policy. Hell Pizza is stirring the pot with its latest creation, the dubious pizza. This cheeky dish comes with a grinder and a bag of dried herbs, sage and oregano, and of course, with 5,000 grinders up for grabs, Hell aims to spark conversation about New Zealand's medical cannabis access. CEO Josh Drake highlights the high cost of and stigma surrounding treatment. Only available for Kiwis 18 and older. Check out Hell's Pizza. Switzerland is rolling out the green carpet. The National Council Social and Health Committee has submitted a draft Cannabis Products Act for public consultation until December. Adults will be allowed to grow and purchase cannabis, but minors and advertising are off limits. Sales will be nonprofit with incentive tax to guide consumers towards less harmful products, aiming for a balanced approach to legalization. The Netherlands is taking its cannabis experiment to the next level. Starting today, 80 coffee shops in 10 cities like Breda, Gorgon, and Maastricht are only allowed to sell legally produced hashish. While some shop owners are excited, the others worry that Moroccan hashish is irreplaceable. Yes, I want some. Send me some. Researchers fear this could push sales back to the streets. The trial runs until 2029. I would have done like a year trial, not like almost 3.5 years. Whew. You're gonna fuck some shit up, especially people like the Moroccan hash.
Yeah.
There, especially. So I've never seen a meteor shower, but I've seen a meteor, one maybe. Could have been a comet. I don't know. Or
I've seen shooting stars.
Yeah, someone told me someone told me you could see satellites too move in the air too.
Yeah.
And we've seen satellites. Once you thought it was a shooting star, I'm like, I think it's a satellite. Someone told me that's how they move. But this article talks about watching a meteor shower with an edible is next level experience.
Yep.
Tell us about it, Mr. Weedman. I'm good.
Here you go. You don't want it, Mr.
No,
Weedman?
I'm good right now.
All right. Just add a little more weed. I'm ready to talk. All right. Every summer, nature puts on a show which rivals any firework display, the meteor shower. Whether it's the Perseids in August, the Geminids in December, or a random burst of cosmic magic, shooting stars can make anyone feel small in the best possible way. But for many in the cannabis-friendly crowd, there's a growing trend, watching a meteor shower with an edible. It's next level awesome. First, let's get the obvious out of the way. Edibles hit differently than other forms of cannabis. Instead of a quick rise and fall, they tend to produce a slow build, full body high, which can last hours. This makes it perfect for meteor watching, which is all about patience and presence. The best shows can run all night, and an edibles effect lets you truly settle in under the sky without constantly checking the time. Edibles also heighten sensory perception, making the contrast of dark night skies and sudden streaks of light even more vivid. The faint twinkle of distant stars, mesmerizing. The unexpected flash of a meteor breaking apart in the atmosphere, absolutely thrilling. Many users say cannabis enhances their sense of wonder, making them feel more connected to the universe and less distracted by everyday worries. In other words, it's not just a high. It's a cosmic mood boost. I like that. There's also the bonus of meteor showers, best experienced away from city lights, often in quiet, remote areas. An edible pairs perfectly with this kind of setting. You're not juggling rolling papers or worrying about the wind you might with smoking. And there's no telltale cloud or smell. Just you, a blanket, maybe some snacks, and the night sky stretching endlessly above. For Gen Z and millennials, generations often valuing experiences over possessions, this combo fits right in. It's low cost, low impact, and ridiculously memorable. A single evening can become the kind of story you tell for years. Remember the night we drove out to the middle of nowhere, ate those gummies, and saw like 10 shooting stars in a row? It's a little bit of science, a little bit of magic, and a whole lot of good vibes. A meteor shower is already a rare and beautiful gift from the universe. Add the right edible, and it can feel like the cosmos are putting on a show just for you. So give it a try.
Yeah.
Before the weather
I
turns.
want to eat some fucking edibles.
I know. I
and
want to
watch
go
some meteors.
sit in a field.
We gotta go like far west though. Around
Yeah.
here, there's too much lights. We gotta go like middle of Illinois. We want to see some good stuff. So.
Or out to like a beach.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
Right.
So I read an article that Deion Sanders said he's never smoked pot before. And he coaches in Colorado, and he says, but I smell an awful lot of it. Prime time.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Mrs. Weedman.
Mr. Weedman.
That's the end of the show.
That was a good one.
You got anything else to say?
Everybody have a fantastic week. And it's a short week. That's always a bonus. So make it a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, everybody out there in the world, we love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the support. Thank you for just keeping us going each and every day. We love you out there. As Paulie always says, smoke smart, puff, puff, and away.
Puff, puff, pass.
Check out our cannabis lifestyle brand online at 8decades.com. Our custom smokes and accessories are perfect for your coffee table, bedroom nightstand, or kitchen counter. They're designed for you to show them off. The Canna community is also loving our hemp and cotton blend t-shirts, sweatshirts, scarves, and hats, finished off with our 8 Decades logo. We've got some awesome, long-lasting goods that will be your favorite for years to come. 8 Decades, because a 9th decade of cannabis prohibition isn't acceptable.